one is not the same. Actually, none of them are the same. It's kind of like one of those magazines you find in the dentist's office that says like 6 differences in this picture. Can you spot them all? Those are always fun, but you know, in all reality, it's just a knife introduction, a knife overview of a sprint run model, really. The Straight Spine Stretch 2. Here it is, the C90 FPIV2. And you know, sometimes I think I'm pretty good at these things. C90, the model, the FP, well, the IV is ivory, and the 2 is the stretch 2. And I'm just trying to figure it out myself. The P is the plain edge. The F, I just never figured it out. I should have Googled it. I was just thinking, right when I started the video, I have no idea what the F means. It must mean flat spine. I don't know. But I think, yeah, it's called the Straight Spine Stretch Sprint Run. And there it is in the, once again, the ivory FRN. Just figured we'd take a look at it. A couple other stretches here. Maybe a couple other knives sitting to the side just to kind of compare them. And there it is. I don't know. A lot of people referred to it as different things. The backlock PM2, the PM2 bladed stretch. I mean, not quite the same, but let's check it out a little bit more. Still that stretch 2. Don't have any stretch 1s here. So yeah, just was a hair bigger than the stretch 1. Still that bi-texture or bi-directional textured Spyderco G10. Oh, FRN. Oh, sorry, I knew I said something wrong. Nice looking clip, nice black Spidey there. Of course, the Sal design. This one just being brand new out of the box. Giving it a slow look over. Oh, just barely a hair off center, which, yeah, some of these models are a hair off. Doesn't bother me too much, especially for a user knife. I mean, I don't just sit there and stare at it, usually, not normally. Of course, this one coming in VG10, the sprint run, that straight spine. Overall, just feels like a normal knife out of Seki. Pretty consistent with what they've been doing. Just thought it'd be fun to look at this blade shape, maybe next to another stretch, and kind of see some differences. So yeah, I've never done this part. Just see how much more of a spine you get, how much bigger the blade is. I don't think I'll get them lined up perfectly, but try to get them a little bit lined up. I mean, you definitely have that straight spine, so more in this area, but possibly less here towards the tip of that belly. Switch them around, just like I said, I've never done this, so was unsure how to do it. Looks like maybe the belly could be the same. Maybe a little bit more belly on the non-straight spine. Well, that's fun to look at. I don't line them up perfectly though. But yeah, here's a couple just stretch 2s. You know, these coming in VG10 and that ZDP 189. Of course, the stretch 2 was coming in G10 too, but it was a little bit more expensive, I guess, in the G10 version, so I don't think it was popping off the shelves or something like that, and well, it got discontinued, so probably pretty much replaced by this FRN model, and it being maybe $50, I don't know, $50, $70 less than the G10, or it could have been more, actually. It's been a little bit more popular So yeah, that stretch 2, just in general, giving you that large belly. Of course, we're looking at the green one now. But just to talk about the stretch 2 real quick, gives you more belly than compared to, say, maybe the Endura. Bring out an Endura here and try to look at these side by side. You can see some definite changes. You know, a lot more belly here in the handle, a taller handle. The finger choil, of course. So a lot of differences. I mean, these stretches being 3.5 inch, right in between, which was the Endura and the Delica. Was that in between model, the stretch, that about 3.5 inch model, and then of course they came out with the Indela, which is, let's check out an Indela next to one of these, because the Indela, you know, really is about the same blade length. Of course, this is next to the non-straight spine. Let's bring up that straight spine and see the Indela next to one of these straight spine stretch 2. Maybe going too far with these side-by-side comparisons, but having pretty much fun with it. It's cool to see the handle shape. I mean, you know, if you're in person, you just pretty much pick them up and look and grab them. You don't do so much looking like this in all reality. So on camera, I mean, that's what I'm doing. Try to line them up for you. Maybe see some differences. More of a swell here, more on the back. Of course, that larger finger guard, and got the choil. So some people really like that choil. Of course, you know, if you hold your finger high, you know, you can close that without cutting yourself. Not to say that you can't on one of these other ones. You can do the same thing. It's just not a choil. You know, Spyderco does that quite often on the back locks. You know, if you hold your hand down here, you're going to get cut. But as long as you keep your hand high, you can disengage it, and usually there's an unsharpened part of the knife going to hit you. I mean, always check that out, but just generalizing from Spyderco in general. So it doesn't always have to be, it doesn't have to be the choil in order to be safe. But even with that choil, if you're down here and you just, well, you can imagine it's not going to be the choil. So don't get too lackadaisical about that. Keep your hand high. Maybe saying that too much, but yeah, I did that a long time ago, and well, I'll tell you now, I never did it again. So keep your hand high on that one-handed close. I think we should get a measurement on one of these. Be a good idea. Oh, no tape measure, so you just have to take my word for it. 3.5 inch. No tape measure. I don't know what happened to that. Let's get a weight on one of these. Stretch 2. See if there's any difference at all in the blade. It's going to be pretty minimal, I think. 3.72 on the straight spine. Let's check out one of these. Probably a little bit more on the straight spine. Yeah, it is just a hair more. I mean, I was just guessing. But, you know, when you're in person handling them, I mean, it's almost the same. See, it varies a little bit. Well, this is the ZDP version. So yeah, that's straight spine. And another thing people were saying was the PM2 blade on the backlock PM2 or the PM2 stretch. And well, is it? Not really. I think you could see that right out the gate. Quite a bit more belly here on the straight spine stretch. Of course, this is VG10, whether you love it or hate it, or maybe you like it. Easier to sharpen, but doesn't hold his edge quite as long. So I think maybe that's been one of the criticisms of this sprint run. Keeps the price down. It's easy to sharpen and gets super sharp, so I think I don't need to explain VG10 in this video. It is what it is. It's a nice steel. Some were saying, well, they'll wait till, one of these comes out with a better steel. And we don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe someone else does, but it's a sprint run. So we don't know. I mean, I don't know, once again. And I would think, if these fly off the shelves and everyone's crying for more, we'd probably see them. But once again, if people don't buy the VG10 version, because they're waiting, they might like the knife, but they don't want the VG10 version, they don't buy it, well, there might not be, never ever be another version. That's what I would think. I mean, it's happened before. People waited for the better steel to come out, and it never came out because, well, they never bought the entry-level version. And call this entry-level version. It's nice that way. Either you're going to love this ivory FRN or not, and the beauty of the FRN. And I think that all the Spyderco people know this now. And a lot of non-Spyderco people know it. It was new to me just a while back. Dye your FRN. You can make it a lot of different colors. So on the sprint run, they're coming with this ivory FRN, a light color. My point, giving you just a lot of options to dye it, and it's going to dye quickly. Made from nylon, fiberglass reinforced nylon, and that's what those dyes are. Most dyes are made for nylon. So yeah, it dyes real quick. Blue, orange, red, the sky's the limit. So just saying, if they would have had a black sprint run, or a dark blue or a dark red or any dark color, just would have limited the options to get rid of the ivory, so to speak, if you don't like that ivory. But yeah, more belly there, possibly a little more left-hand friendly than the compression lock. So if you're a lefty or you want a little more belly in your PM2, if you ever wanted a FRN PM2, well, you could try that stretch sprint run. That'd be a recommendation. You see the handle shape here on the PM2. Let's check out the handle shape here. Did I line these up yet? I don't think so. So let's line these up, and we're gonna see. It's really close. It's really close to the same thing. Probably can't get it lined up that well once again, but I'll try. I'll just give them a little reverse. It'll be easier to see with the white in the back. So let's give these a fair share on the handle shape, and you'll see, it's not exact, but it's pretty close. So if you ever wanted that, well, I don't think anyone, probably 1 in 1,000 people ever said they want a lockback PM2, but a lot of people possibly said they wanted a little more belly in their PM2. I have heard that before, and I've heard a lot of people say, man, I want a FRN PM2. So sure, it's a different lock, but pretty similar in the blade shape with more belly. Something to try out in the meantime. Will a FRN PM2 come out? Well, we don't know that either. So, nice look over here on the stretch sprint run, straight spine. Let's throw out that Andela there next to it. Of course, that Delica, that Endura. Maybe just toss that PM2 next to it. Kind of maybe get the blades next to each other. Well, thanks for joining me here on the Knife Joker channel for looking over that sprint run stretch. And stay tuned, you know, hopefully come out with some more videos here quick. If you do like the channel, subscribe. And if you want to see more about these sprint runs stretch, you can check them out at knifejoker.com. See you next time.